The Crypt Interviews, in association with Mayo Leisure Point Castle Bar.
You're listening to The Crypt, the home of horror on Irish radio, and my special guest this week is Matt Farnsworth, the writer and director of the award-winning independent slasher film, The Orphan Killer. So you're very welcome to the show, Matt.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Well, now, Matt, this movie's been on the go since 2011, and I only got to watch it recently myself. It was recommended to me by the guys from the Emerald Gore Horror Society. And I have to say, wow, I absolutely loved it. So for those who are not familiar with the movie, could you give an outline of the plot?
It's a brother and sister who are orphaned when they are children. And in the orphanage, it's a brother and sister, suffers some abuse and is sort of left behind by the sister. Later on, he comes back and wreaks havoc and hunts her down and takes revenge. It's really classic slasher, a lot of blood, a lot of gore, and it was a lot of fun to make.
And you know something I think we have to remember in watching this movie as well is, yes, Audrey was a victim, but Marcus was also a victim because, he witnessed his parents' death, which it would terrorise any child, and instead of getting help, he spent his youth tortured by nuns and priests in the orphanage. Felt abandoned then by his sister when she went off and got adopted. So this guy's mental state didn't really stand a chance from the start, did it? No,
I think that he was handed antisocial personality disorder from the beginning. Yeah, he's destined to be a killer.
You had the opportunity to go the studio route with offers from Anchor Bay and Lionsgate. So can you talk about your decision to decline and go your own independent route?
I guess I really liked the film, and we put a lot of work into it and a lot of energy and money and time. And, I thought, well, I could put it out on DVD now with, Lionsgate or somebody, but, you just don't know what happens with it then. And your hands are kind of tied. Of course, you can promote the film. And, looking back on it, I'd say, it was a lot of work to, promote the film, and who knows what it would have done on DVD with a bigger company. But my concern is that it can get buried, pretty quickly. And that happens a lot of times. It goes out with 4 or 5 other films that it's packaged together with, and Walmart or whatever. And then you've got it up on iTunes and things like that. And they do take on a lot of the cost of, subtitling, closed captioning, trailer, poster artwork, fees associated with putting it on digital platforms, which is, that's nice. But today, 4 years ago, it was a little bit more difficult to get it up on those platforms. But since I'd already been in LA so long, I had a lot of contacts to be able to get the film up online myself if I wanted to do that. And I just kind of wanted to keep it and be able to see the back end of everything, how the process works and how I can and see what sales are, and knowing the business, I know that with the bigger studios, you don't always get the most detailed reporting. I'd had an experience on a film called Iowa that I made in 2006, and it was released by a studio, and I never really could. There was always so many costs associated with the marketing and so many costs associated with everything that you really never really made any money. It seemed like they were always in the red somehow.
And then, of course, you wouldn't want it cut down either with censorship.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They wanted that. They wanted to remove some of the stuff from the film that people would really like. So that happened with that first film I did too. They wanted to remove one of the scenes in the first film, and I had to remove it. And it wasn't really that graphic a scene. It's strange what will set some people off, but that's definitely a major reason is you want to keep your baby that you made intact and let everybody see it the way you wanted them to see it.
Exactly. And you did your own marketing through social media, and that was hugely successful. So could you talk a bit about that process and maybe give some advice to others who want to take that route in promoting their films?
Sure. I think that social media had just started. Facebook was, it was MySpace, and then it was Facebook, and then I think Twitter followed that up. What I did is, I'd say, find a voice to speak to the people that you're, a character in your film, something like that. That's sort of what we did was, Marcus Miller is real, and he will talk to you. And he did. And at first we were banned multiple times from Facebook for the things that Marcus had to say to people.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And so, but they loved it. Again, it depends on the person you're talking to. If you've got that niche market in horror, they understand when you get back to somebody and say you want to, pull their eyeballs out, they don't take offense to it. So, we sort of went that route and did a lot of photography, I took a lot of pictures, 77,000 pictures of, the Orphan Killer and the stars. And these were not stills just from the movie. These were, things we would go out and shoot.
Well, it was very clever of you, because we have to remember back then, social media wasn't what it is now. Everybody didn't have a Facebook page. Everybody wasn't on Twitter, so you really made it work.
Was lucky at that time. Facebook was different. If you had 500 fans on Facebook, on your fan page, and you posted a picture, all 500 fans saw that picture.
Yeah.
Now they only show a tiny audience of your audience. So like now 10 people would see it, unless you pay to have the post boosted. So things have changed. They figured out that we can't just let these people show everybody that likes their page the picture unless they pay for it. So they're sort of charging for that service now. But back then they weren't. So it quickly grew from 500 to 1,000 to 2,000 to 100,000, and it just kept going. And that was, fortunate. You post a picture and you had 3,000 people that saw it. You'd have 2,600 people that liked it. Because they all saw it. So it was easier without, now it's money. Now it's, they're sort of a studio in themselves.
Well, then Germany banned your movie, saying you were glorifying violence and a danger to youth. So this straight away puts you in the group of the likes of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hostel 2. So how did that make you feel as a filmmaker? Because I know as a fan, that would just make me say, oh my God, I have to see this movie.
I was nervous actually at first, because I made a film that was like in Tribeca Film Festival, and my first film, and it was sort of more mainstream, and I was sort of in the business, and I thought, oh no, this movie's banned somewhere. Oh man, that's not good. And what I realized quickly was through the fans, the people that like the movie were saying, oh, that's just awesome. I can't wait to see it. And then I learned that some of my favorite films, like Texas Chainsaw and others, were banned in countries. And I thought, oh, wow, well, I guess it's not such a bad thing.
Exactly. Look at the success of those films.
Exactly. So we started to market it as banned, in Germany. And it worked. It actually helped, move the film, up another level. And just been really lucky they got that kind of attention.
Well, that's it. It'll intrigue any hardcore horror fan once they read that.
Of course, and it did. We've had a lot of downloads, and though at first a lot of people saw the movie, just online, through piracy. It became popular actually.
Now I want to talk about The Mask. I know you're a fan of a lot of the classic 80s slasher movies. So did you feel it was important for Marcus to wear a mask, and why so?
Oh, well, that's just traditional. I think, I don't think I ever saw it any other way than him wearing a mask. I grew up on that, and so it was necessary. It was one of those stories where, when you learned about like the Shatner mask and Halloween and how that worked. It's funny because we molded Marcus's mask to an actor's face.
Oh, really?
So, Yeah, so it was interesting because I never really thought about it till recently. I was like, well, yeah, we kind of like sculpted it to his face a little bit, and then he was no longer the actor, and then a new actor came on to play Marcus, and it didn't fit him, and so he kind of wore it so much that he like morphed it into this really terrible looking thing. So it was cool the way the character actually progressed. It was cool to watch it organically sort of change, because when he wore it, his face would like pop out his ears would pop out the sides, and its chin would hang out down below, and it just didn't fit. It made it actually that much cooler, because it was
and plus the fact that like Marcus was supposed to have that mask on him from a child, so naturally it would go like that over the years. So that fit the story well too.
It would have been more intelligent to write that in, but organically it just happened. Just luck again, that the actor that came on was bigger, and it just looked crazy on him.
Can people purchase that mask now?
Yeah, Trick or Treat Studios puts it out, and we have a store at the orphankillerstore.com. We've got some masks on sale there. We've got some left in stock here, and Trick or Treat Studios, I believe, still has it up online.
Oh, excellent. That's definitely one I have to add to my collection. I love it.
It's a scary mask, yeah.
It really is. It really is. Well, can you talk about your choice of casting for the roles of Audrey and Marcus? And I have to say, I thought Diane Foster was superb in the role.
Yeah, she's great. She did a great job. She was in my first film, Iowa, and I thought, well, this is the perfect person for this. She's good looking, she can act, and, do a lot of emotional acting. So I thought that was great, because she didn't have a lot of dialogue. So, I thought, well, this is somebody who's got to, emote, and she did a great job doing that. So that was sort of, let her roll with it. There was a lot of improvisational stuff where it was like, well, we're going to, cut your stomach now, or go, act like we're doing this, or we're going to do that. So give us something,
She made a great scream queen. Actually, a funny story was the first day I watched The Orphan Killer, my mum was up staying with me, and I was watching it early in the morning, and Mam's in the room fast asleep in bed. And all the screaming Audrey was doing in the film, I'm there lying watching it. And next minute my mother came running in the door. Are you okay? Are you okay? Because she thought I was screaming that something had happened to me.
Authentic.
In the other room. So that shows how good her acting was.
Yeah, she did a great job. And I always enjoy those scenes in that boiler room where she's tied up and, going through it. Those are really graphic, and the acting really sold it, as well as the effects. We had good special effects, practical effects that I think helped the acting,
Oh, sure, it was great when she was pulling her hands out from the barbed wire. That was very well done.
I love that part.
It's a brilliant film. Everyone has to see it. It really kind of gets around word of mouth. Do you know what I mean? Because I hadn't heard of it. Then the guys at Emerald Gore said to me, "Have you seen The Orphan Killer? You have to watch this movie. It is brilliant." So I was straight on it then. But back in October, a teaser trailer was released for The Orphan Killer 2. So can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, we shot that, a little while ago, and sort of taking my time putting it together. And it is, it's insane. We shot that in Los Angeles, and it's loaded. I think it'll be banned, and maybe more than just Germany. It is brutal. It is graphic, and baby sister Audrey was raised in an orphanage too, and she also. We don't know what she went through when she was adopted,
And them nuns were feckin' evil. So they were. Yeah. I'm sure she didn't get off too easy either.
No, so we don't know what her mental state is. And, Marcus is never possibly really dead. So it's basically the two of them, and, we mixed in some elements this time. We have a lot of friends here in the mixed martial arts community, UFC. And so this film has some action. It has some fighting. It has some popular people in it, some female fighters, and like Jake Ellenberger's in it. He's a male fighter. He's a welterweight. Is he a welterweight? He's in the UFC, Jake Ellenberger, and he's, an excellent fighter, Jake the Juggernaut. We got Shayna Baszler and Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir, and then we have Nick Principe, who played Chrome Skull, and we have, it's just a great cast of actors. And, of course, Diana's in it again, and she's not so nice in this one. So things change real fast, and they go through about 23 people in this. So
nice one.
It's a slaughter.
Some great kills, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah, I mean we're ripping intestines out of people. So it was quite a process again to film this one. It was like such a mess, but we had a great special effects artist, Simpat Bashirian, here in LA, and we shot it 4K. So it's really beautiful, and it will be up on iTunes in the next 3 or 4 weeks. And
that's soon.
Yeah, in all English-speaking countries. It'll be Google Play and then Amazon. And I'm right now doing a deal with a company that I did a deal with in Germany. It's 8 films. It's Steve Aquilina, who's my partner in Germany. He is bringing they're starting a new company in the U.S. called Real Gore, and we'll see what happens with that. They want to put the DVD out as a combo pack, Orphan Killer 1 and 2 together, in like a steel book. So we'll see how that goes. That could happen over the next few months as well.
Excellent. Oh, I'm really excited to see that now, and I'm delighted to hear it's not too far away.
No, it's not. It's not. It's 2 hours and 17 minutes as well. So it's epic.
Excellent. Well,
yeah.
I also just want to go back a bit as well, because you mentioned your first film, Iowa, which is one I haven't seen. So could you just tell us a little bit about that?
That's a meth drama. It's, about manufacturing methamphetamine in the Midwest. It's just a couple who, go down the wrong path, start to sell methamphetamine, get themselves in trouble, and that whole spiral downward. It's a pretty crazy film too, and that's sort of where I got my first taste for the practical effects and the gore. There's a finger that gets cut off in that film, and I thought that was so cool, and a throat that gets cut, and I thought, wow, this is amazing, just how realistic it looked and how well the special effects artist did this. And that sort of set me on my ideas of, well, it'd be kind of fun to make a slasher film, and so I decided, let me write something, and I had some suggestions from some pretty big studios and big people to say, your movie is really scary. Actually, the meth film has got a lot of touches of horror, and maybe you should try that.
Well, it's excellent that you're doing that, because all we're getting in the slasher genre is remake after remake. So apart from Victor Crowley and Hatchet, the only other real new one is The Orphan Killer.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of popular, yeah. Those movies were released by studios and stuff. I mean, I know at the time Lionsgate talked to me about directing the new Texas Chainsaw, but it just, I don't know. I mean, I didn't know, like, the meeting didn't go or something didn't happen with it, and I thought, well. I mean, it's a remake, it's, I don't know, not really an original idea. And I get kind of bored easily, so.
Oh, and actually, another question I wanted to ask you was, you played the part of Audrey's boyfriend in The Orphan Killer. So, will we see you again?
Briefly, yes. Cameo.
A cameo.
I shot the last film, so, it was, I shot some of the first film too, but I shot, 98% of this movie, and we did use 2 cameras. We had another great cinematographer, but we just took a couple of 4K red cameras and just filmed everything. So I wasn't able to act in this one as much, but I am in it. I do have a fight scene in it and stuff. So
cool.
It was fun.
So did you get to kick some ass?
I got my ass kicked. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt Horwich. Matt Horwich is a UFC fighter. Matt Horwich is a really interesting character in real life and on screen, and he played the Orphan Killer. And so wrestling with him and fighting with him was it's really sore the next day. Oh. Yeah, that's David Backus in the first one. That's a different actor. But he's awesome. I mean, he was a great actor. He was in my first film, Iowa, too, and he really was fantastic in all of his vocalizations as Marcus, just where he went with it and stuff. And, when we would record that dialogue, he really got into that character in that space, really dark.
Well, Matt, I'm really, really looking forward to the next installment of The Orphan Killer, and thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure to talk to you. I appreciate it.
The Crypt Interviews, in association with Mayo Leisure Point Castle Bar.